Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Let's take a look at the headlines. Government launches anti-food waste and food loss campaign for World Environment Day. Statistics already showing a marked reduction in the food import bill. And the Emancipation Support Committee expects a special year in the national commemoration of emancipation. Thank you for joining us. Think, eat, save, reduce your footprint is the theme for this year's World Environment Day, designated by the United Nations in an effort to reduce food loss and waste. The campaign was recognized here in Trinidad and Tobago as the Ministry of the Environment hosted its program targeted at sensitizing the public on wise consumer choices that center on conserving food.
Despite world hunger statistics ranking at 1 in every 7 persons starving, food continues to be wasted around the globe. However, this year the UN has designated World Environment Day, commemorated on June 6th, with focus on reducing our global food footprint and the aim of sensitizing citizens on the need to stop wasting food. Each day, tons of food are left behind and thrown out of homes to eventually be added to the dump as waste, and the consequence of this on the environment is infinite. Acting Conservator of Forests at the Forestry Division, Johnny Sipasad, says making healthier choices when it comes to food can assist in making a difference in the world.
This team, Think, Eat, Save, is an anti-food waste and food loss campaign that encourages you to reduce your food footprint. What we mean by this is that, if you eat wisely, you don't have to eat that big amount, but you eat wisely and you encourage sustainability, you reduce waste.
Limiting the impact this will have on future generations lies in the power of our hands. According to advisor to the Ministry of the Environment, Andy Ali, wasting food contributes to deforestation as well as the emission of greenhouse gases.
When food is wasted, it means that all resources and inputs used in the production of all food are also lost. In fact, the global food production occupies 25% of all habitable lands and is responsible for 70% of freshwater consumption, 80% of deforestation, 30% of greenhouse gas emissions. It is the largest single driver of biodiversity loss and land use change. Making informed decisions, therefore, means, for example, that you purposefully select foods that have less of an environmental impact, such as organic foods that do not use chemicals in the production process. Choosing to buy locally can also mean that foods are not flown halfway around the world and therefore limit emissions.
He told citizens that they too can make a difference by changing their habits.
As a nation, Trinidad and Tobago has been blessed with an abundance of forest resources and varied ecosystems. We must be conscious of the need for conservation and protection of these resources. We must be held accountable for future generations for the use and misuse, since we are only borrowing it from them. We as a country must play our role in the global struggle to reverse negative trends. We must be aware, and because of our irresponsible actions, wildlife are dying, watersheds are diminishing, fish spawning areas are shrinking, and powerful, yet to be discovered sources of medicine are being eradicated.
The fair gave persons the chance to purchase plants so they too can begin growing and eating organically. At the core of it was the message of conserving the earth and making it a better world for generations to come.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Kimberly Calawan, News 4.
In other news, in 2013, the Emancipation Support Committee of Trinidad and Tobago, now in its 21st year, once more has the honor and the challenge to bring pride to our country by hosting the national commemoration of emancipation. It is being hailed as a special year in many respects, one that will provide new expanded opportunities for participants and citizens generally.
Apart from the quality of the cultural, economic and educational programs which the committee will offer to nationals and visitors this year, the entire festival will draw an additional magic from special historical factors in the 2013 environment.
It's the 50th anniversary of the African Union, the 175th anniversary of the end of slavery in our own region. Those who speak English, that is. For those who spoke Dutch, it came later, like our sister, who we also have to welcome, Sister Jean Enriquez. For people like her ancestors, it ended 150 years ago, and this is also the beginning of the decade for people of African descent.
Chairman of the Emancipation Support Committee, Kafra Kambon, says, in recognition of the celebrations, an African Union presence will be hosted, and 2013 will also be the first year of the decade for people of African descent. Such energies flowing in the regional, national and international environment, he says, will facilitate marketing of the Emancipation Festival at a subliminal level. Mr. Kafra says this will also add more poignancy to the list of events.
And the reason it grows is because it touches the soul of the people. Because when those people come out in their tens of thousands on August 1st, they are not coming out because of Kafra Kambon or the Emancipation Support Committee. They are coming out because of themselves, because of the way they feel as proud Africans when they come out on that day. That's why you have no bad behavior associated with all those crowds on Emancipation Day. That is one day you have tens of thousands of people on the street, and I could afford to tell the commissioner or acting commissioner of police, you could keep all your police home, give them a day off on that day.
Speaking at the event, Minister of Arts and Multiculturalism, Dr. the Honorable Lincoln Douglas, spoke about the history of Africans. He also urged audiences to remember this tradition of greatness, of which they came from.
And we've come from a tradition that has been outlined. We've come from a tradition of greatness. We've come from a tradition of oppression. We've come from a tradition of struggle. We've come from a tradition of greatness. And we have to figure out how to make a positive future out of this tradition. And hopefully we will receive guidance on that. So we've come from this tradition and we want to reflect on that. We want to reflect on how can we overcome the obstacles that have been placed in our way.
The Emancipation Support Committee says the high-profile festival plan will put specific information out in the public domain, as well as engage the imagination and build excitement for what is to come. The launch of Emancipation 2013 featured multimedia presentations, projections for 2013, entertainment, and emancipatory messages. Joseph Lopez, News 4.
When we come back, a reduction in the food import bill. Stay with us. Welcome back. There has been a definite reduction in the amount of food imported into Trinidad and Tobago. This is the confirmation coming from the Minister of Trade and Industry, Senator the Honorable Vassan Barath.
Minister Barath delivered the good news while addressing the Senate during a recent Senate sitting. He explains the largest chunk of this country's import bill is usually spent on milk and honey, vegetables and animal feed. The Trade and Industry Minister says there has been a reduction in at least 8 of the top 10 foods that this country imports.
Edible products and preparations gone down by 22%. Milk and cream gone down by 74%. Feeding stuff for animals gone down by 5.8%. Vegetables, Mr. President, which is, of course, something that we've had perennial problems in the past with, has gone down by 43.9%. Preserved vegetables has actually gone down from 81,000 kilograms to 24,000 kilograms, a decrease of 70%, Mr. President. Fruit and nuts, fresh, dry, has gone down by 33.9%. Fruit juices, Mr. President, has gone down by 57%, Mr. President. And importation of eggs have gone down by 9%.
Minister Bharat says the reduction is evidence that the government's current agricultural policies are working effectively. He says although there has been a dollar value increase in the imports, the actual number of goods imported has reduced. The Trade Minister reiterates that despite this hiccup, the government will not waver in its pledge to ensure food security in this nation.
We've been able to reduce the amount of imported products that we're actually bringing into the country, although, of course, we're still at the vagaries of international pricing. Of course, we will continue under the auspices of the Minister of Food Production to ensure that we provide further food security for this country.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
$56 million is currently at this country's disposal to assist children who are in need of life-saving medical operations abroad. So says Minister of Health, Dr. the Honorable Fuad Khan.
Government ministers have contributed almost $1.4 million to the Children's Life Fund. This is the revelation given by Minister Khan while speaking during the oral answer segment of a recent Senate debate. Minister Khan says the fund has both TT and US monies put aside to help children who require the financial assistance to seek life-saving medical procedures abroad.
The net balance in the bank account of the Children's Life Fund as at the 31st of December 2012 reflect the following. $56 million TT and US dollars $263,571.64. Mr. President, the number of children that have benefited from access to this fund has been 18 children so far.
Minister Khan reveals the largest contributor to the fund, however, is the government of Trinidad and Tobago.
$30 million was donated into the fund by the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago on October 2011. And also $30 million donated on December 2012, Mr. President. The list of contributors to the Children's Life Fund so far of the 31st of January 2012, the government of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, as I just said, $60 million. The government ministers, $1,391,309.94.
Other contributors include the Trinidad and Tobago consulates in Toronto and New York, the Indian High Commission, the National Energy Skills Company, the Prime Minister's Gulf Charity Tournament, Scotiabank and Caribbean Airlines, just to name a few. The Health Minister thanks all the contributors to the fund. He reiterates that all their contributions are appreciated no matter the amount, as it will go a long way in saving a child's life. Gregory McBurney, News 4.
The Minister of the People and Social Development recently went back to his constituency to address a number of concerns affecting residents. This formed an essential part of the Direct Effect initiative under his ministry.
Member of Parliament for Caroni Central and Minister of the People and Social Development, Dr. the Honorable Glen Ramadar Singh, toured his constituency to learn of the many issues that plague the community as he sought the best solutions to address them. The Honourable Minister, along with his ministry's staff, visited house to house, greeting residents along Sesame Street, Presal.
It's as business as usual this morning, as it was throughout the weekend, through the phone and the emails and so on. But certainly, coming to the community itself, there's no better way than to deal with the issues. And so this is one stop. There are many other stops along the area. The councillor is with me. And some key members of the People's Ministry. We are here to continue interface with the people of Caroni Central and indeed the wider national community.
Residents came out of their homes to greet the minister and express their concern about numerous issues that affect their lives on a daily basis. The walk lasted over an hour and a half, ending at around 8:30 a.m. as the minister said the objective was to catch the residents before they left for work or to tend to other responsibilities. Following the walk, the Honourable Minister gave an overview of what took place.
Immediately, there are several projects that can be done through the self-help. And I've instructed the councillor to visit the offices of the self-help and from the People's Unit. So there are a lot of projects that the people are willing to do, but they just need the materials. And therefore, they are not willing to be a burden on the state. Some of the issues we've seen, we would not have seen if we had not come at this hour in the morning, because people were on their way to work and were able to tell us. And some of them work long hours and come back late at night. So we were able to interact with quite a few persons who needed emergency housing, shelter needs, need for food security. There are some elderly problems we came across that we will deal with. Also, some persons have medical issues, which we will send to the Minister of Health immediately. And so I'm very happy that we have had this direct effect walkabout in this community in Purcell. I think it will reap significant rewards because there are just some things that needed monitoring, some things that needed checking, and we too need to keep re-evaluating our system so that we can serve the people, serve the people, serve the people.
The minister said the Direct Effect initiative will continue next Wednesday as he and his staff moves into Patna Village, Dago Martin. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Sport is up right after the break. Dwayne Bravo will captain the West Indies team when they begin their quest for ICC Champions Trophy on Friday at the Oval in England versus favourites Pakistan. The tournament bowled off today with a major clash between India and South Africa in Cardiff, Wales. Wayne Cunningham has more.
The Oval is where the West Indies captured the ICC Champions Trophy in 2004, and it will be the venue for their opening match in 2013. They will face pre-tournament favourites Pakistan at the famed venue and will be captained by Trinidad and Tobago's Dwayne Bravo, who along with his brother Darren led the regional team to a 17-run win over Sri Lanka in their final warm-up match. Captain Bravo was in that team which triumphed 9 years ago, along with Chris Gale and Ramnaresh Sawan, who much will be expected of for this edition of the tournament. The Pakistanis are missing some key players, with Shahid Afridi and Yunus Khan both out, but they are still expected to pose a challenge with the likes of Misbah-ul Haq and Shoaib Malik in their lineup, which makes for an interesting contest. The competition bowled off in Cardiff, Wales, with India facing South Africa, which resulted in a 26-run victory for Captain Mahindra Singh Dhoni and his men from the subcontinent. This was achieved due to some fine batting at the top of the order from India. Upma Shikhar Dhawan registered the first century of the tournament with a well-played 114 from 94 balls. His partner, Rohit Sharma, made 65, the two with a 127 first wicket stand. That was followed by an 83-run pairing of Dhawan and Virat Kohli, who made 31. Ravindra Jadeja contributed a useful and entertaining 47 off 29 balls at the tail of the innings, as India amassed 331 for 7 in their allotted 50 overs. The South Africans' reply was hampered by two crucial runouts as India was solid in the field. They were going along well after the dismissal of Hashim Amla, who left with a score of 31 for 2 in the 5th over. But then came the first runout in the 25th over, when they lost the wicket of Robin Peterson, who was looking good on 68, but was undone by some brilliant work from Jadeja in the field. Jadeja was also involved when Captain A.B. de Villiers was sent back on 70. He caught him off the bowling of Umesh Yadav. Despite a fighting top score of 71 not out by Ryan McLaren, India was always on top and ended by restricting the Proteas to 305 all out in exactly 50 overs. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
News 4 continues after the break. A closer eye will be kept on the east of Trinidad during this year's hurricane season. According to the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Services, the 2013 hurricane season can be expected to be above normal, with the formation of storms taking place east of Trinidad. Climatologist Kenneth Kerr explained during the Met Services annual brief of the hurricane season.
Expect rainy season 2013 to be warmer than normal and a very rainy wet one than normal, at least in the eastern parts of Trinidad and for most of Tobago. The forecast was presented as the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Services gave its annual rundown of what to expect this rainy season. The conference was held at the official start of the hurricane season, which starts in June and continues into November, unlike the rainy season which starts in June and runs until the end of the year in December. Climatologist at the Met Office Kenneth Kerr, in his breakdown of the season, explained that patterns may see some areas experience wetter than normal conditions and urged them to be prepared.
We are very confident that above normal is going to occur in greater percentages here. We are 70% confident that it's going to occur in these regions, and the percentages change. And we are least confident that it's going to occur above normal in this area. And that is in keeping with the previous slide. So this is our confidence that Tobago and Northeast Trinidad has the highest confidence of having above normal rainfall in 2013.
But while the 2013 rainy season got off to an early start, Kerr notes the hurricane season this year can see formation of storms at the east of Trinidad.
Our forecast for 2013 takes into consideration our statistical model forecast. We run a statistical model forecast similar to what we did with the rainy season, and we analyze historical years when environmental conditions were similar to what is occurring this year. And we also looked at climate indicators and evolving ocean and atmospheric conditions. And all of this points to an above normal hurricane season for the area of interest to Trinidad and Tobago. In particular, we are saying that there's an 80% chance of 3 to 6 named storms likely to develop in the North Atlantic east of Trinidad and Tobago, in that area, as I mentioned, bounded by 15 north and longitude 61 west.
He assures while this does not mean that Trinidad and Tobago will experience hurricanes, nevertheless we need to be prepared to experience some activity as a result of being in the vicinity of the storm formation area.
Common impacts associated with above normal tropical storms in the area of interest. We have rain or feeder band activity affecting Trinidad and Tobago. We have had direct threats by tropical storms, and sometimes these storms curve away before they reach Trinidad and Tobago, and they draw the moisture away from Trinidad and Tobago, thereby impacting our rainy season negatively by reducing the cloud formation in our area.
2013 is not the first year classed as above normal, as in 2010 Trinidad and Tobago experienced similar conditions with total rainfall recorded at 2,152 millimeters. Kimberly Ramkalawan, News 4.
Well, that's how we wrap up this edition of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Nicola Barito. Thank you for watching.